The rain was coming down hard that night, cold, merciless, and endless. On a deserted street in Chicago, a woman in her early 30s knelt beside a trembling boy who looked no older than 12. His clothes were soaked, his face pale, his eyes empty. She took off her coat and wrapped it around him. But what she didn't know was that this single act of kindness, this one sandwich she gave to a starving boy, would one day come back to her in a way that would shake her world to the core. Studio microphone. Hey, before we continue this incredible story of fate and kindness, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, The Kindness Chronicles, where true stories remind us that compassion can change lives. Red Heart. Now, back to the story. Clapperboard, Scene 1, The Encounter. It was late November, the kind of night when even the streetlights looked tired. Grace Miller, a single mom working 2 jobs, had just finished her night shift at a diner. She was exhausted, hungry, and all she wanted was to get home to her little daughter, Emma. But as she walked toward her car, she noticed a boy sitting near a dumpster behind the diner. He was thin, almost skeletal, his knees pulled to his chest, his lips trembling. Grace hesitated. She didn't have much herself. Rent was overdue, and she barely had enough food for Emma. But something in that boy's eyes stopped her. A quiet, desperate fear, and hope. She walked closer. "Hey there, sweetheart. You okay?" The boy didn't answer. His voice was gone, the kind of silence that comes from too many nights without warmth or food. Grace sighed, then went back inside the diner and grabbed a leftover sandwich and a cup of warm soup. When she returned, the boy looked at her like she was from another world. "It's not much," she said softly, "but it's warm." He devoured it, not like a hungry kid, but like someone who hadn't eaten in days. When he finished, he whispered, "Thank you, ma'am." His name, she learned, was Ethan. Clapperboard, Scene 2, 2 strangers, one kind act. Grace found out Ethan had run away from an abusive foster home. He'd been surviving on scraps, sleeping under bridges, trusting no one. She wanted to take him home, but the law wouldn't allow it. So she did the next best thing. She bought him clean clothes from the thrift store, gave him a few dollars, and helped him find a local shelter. Before he left, she gave him something small, a half-broken keychain shaped like a heart. "It's not much," she said, smiling through her tired eyes, "but whenever life gets hard, remember this, there are still good people out there." Ethan clutched it tight. "I'll never forget you," he whispered. And then, he was gone. Clapperboard, Scene 3, The Years That Followed. Life went on. Grace never heard from Ethan again. She struggled to raise Emma alone. Bills piled up, her car broke down, and the diner eventually shut its doors. Still, she never regretted helping that boy. 15 years passed. Emma grew into a bright young woman, ready to start college. But money was tight. Grace had taken out loans, worked overtime, still, it wasn't enough. She was drowning in debt. Her landlord wanted to evict her. And then, one morning, something unexpected happened. A black luxury car stopped outside her tiny apartment building. The driver, dressed in a sharp black suit, stepped out and said, "Miss Grace Miller? Someone wishes to meet you." Clapperboard, Scene 4, The Invitation. Grace thought it was a mistake. Who would want to meet her? But curiosity, and maybe a flicker of hope, pushed her to say yes. The car took her to a towering glass skyscraper downtown. She stepped into a lobby that looked like something out of a movie, marble floors, golden elevators, soft piano music. She clutched her old purse tightly, feeling completely out of place. The receptionist smiled. "Mr. Cole is expecting you." "Mr. Cole?" She didn't know any Cole. As she stepped into the top-floor office, her heart pounded. The room was vast, with a view of the entire Chicago skyline. Behind a massive desk sat a man in a tailored navy suit, probably in his late 20s, confident, sharp, with eyes that looked strangely familiar. He stood up. "Miss Miller," he said, his voice calm but emotional. "You probably don't recognize me." Grace blinked, confused. Then he pulled something from his pocket. A half-broken heart-shaped keychain. Clapperboard, Scene 5, The Reveal. Her knees almost gave out. "Ethan," she whispered. He smiled, a tear slipping down his cheek. "Yes. Ethan Cole now. But once. I was just a starving boy behind your diner." Grace covered her mouth, speechless. Ethan walked toward her, his voice trembling. "I searched for you for years. That night, you didn't just give me food. You gave me hope. You made me believe I wasn't invisible." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a check, with more zeros than she'd ever seen in her life. "This isn't charity," he said. "It's gratitude. You saved my life. Now let me help you live yours." Grace's hands shook. "Ethan, I can't accept this." But he interrupted softly, "You already did your part, years ago." Clapperboard, Scene 6, The Emotional Turn. For a few moments, neither spoke. Grace looked out the window, at the city she'd struggled in for decades. And then at the boy she once saved, now a billionaire who had come back to repay a debt of kindness. Tears welled in her eyes. "You were just a kid. I never thought you'd remember." Ethan smiled. "I never forgot. When I started my company, I named it after you, Grace Foundation. We've helped over 10,000 homeless children find homes. Because you helped me find mine." Grace couldn't hold back anymore. She hugged him, tears falling freely. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like the world was cold. Clapperboard, ending of Chapter 1, The Twist Tease. But just as Grace thought her life was finally turning around, Ethan's assistant rushed in with a worried look. "Sir, the board just called. There's an emergency with your company. Someone's trying to destroy everything you built." Ethan's face hardened. Grace looked at him, confused. "What's going on?" He glanced at her, a storm in his eyes. "It's someone from my past, Grace, someone who knows the truth about where I came from." Studio microphone, and that is where Chapter 2 begins. Studio microphone. Before we continue this unbelievable story of fate, redemption, and kindness, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles, where true stories touch your heart and remind you, every act of kindness matters.